Welcome to another edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willis, your host. Look, as you guys know, politics begins at home. Politics begins locally. And interestingly, one of the things that many have forgotten is that they have to work locally. Lucky for us, we have people in the community who know that. And that is exactly what they're doing. With us today, we have Ellie Porras, who is the president of the Kingwood area Democrats and doing a hell of a job reinvigorating the community, making sure that people are engaged again. And we have somebody making a big difference, not just talking about it, but actually saying, I am going to be part of the solution. That is Natalie Carter, who is a former Humble ISD candidate, but altogether, she is a community organizer, somebody that's making a difference in her community. Ladies, welcome to Politics Done Right.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely so. Well, look,
Thank you.
Let me tell you, one of the reasons that I wanted to talk to you is, I got a text that concerned me. First of all, Natalie, as somebody who was about to become a board member, you know that the school district decided, I love that cat. The school district, I love that cat. That cat, that's going to be the star of the program. I noticed that the school decided that in a place where healthcare is needed, and the United States have likely the best and likely the lousiest healthcare system all at once. The school decided to do something about it. Humble ISD decided to do something about it. Now we have an issue. Why don't you start by telling me exactly what it is that the school intended to do? And your cat is just fine.
I apologize. I have a cat and a dog that are just, emotionally bonded to me. So, and I apologize.
They are part of the family. They are part of the family.
They wear blue quite a bit. So yes, you're right. Definitely Humble ISD partnered with Memorial Herman. They were actually approached. Humble ISD was approached by Memorial Herman because of the surge of pediatric ER visits. And our CEO, or the CEO of Memorial Herman, partnered or approached Dr. Elizabeth Fagan, who is the superintendent of Humble ISD, with this idea of a partnership by starting a student health clinic located at Humble High School, which would serve as kind of the Mecca, where they have multiple schools that feed into this Title I school, like Lakeland Elementary, North Bend Elementary, Ross Sterling, Humble Middle. They're all Title I schools, meaning that they are socioeconomically disadvantaged and challenged, as well as they're part of a majority of underrepresented groups of Hispanic and African American students. And so it was a great partnership. All of the services that would be provided by Memorial Herman would be 100% free. And there was even discussions about providing transportation at zero cost to the taxpayers, as well as to the parents and the students that partake in this amazing program. So that's how that was the genesis of this whole partnership. And we're super excited. There was a bond that was passed to actually build a physical building to support this initiative. And right now there's a slight delay because of course, construction delays, noted across, the country from just the lag of COVID recovery. And so right now they had to represent this partnership because we needed to use temporary buildings, since our actual building, due to the construction delays, we're not going to be ready for the next year or two. And so that's where we are right now.
Okay, so that explains what the intent was, to take care of the underprivileged, people that are underprivileged. Now, I want to make one correction here, because I think as long as we always keep the narrative that the reason we're building these entities is to help those underprivileged, and we classify the underprivileged as Black and Hispanic, etc., a lot of our white audience is going to look to some extent and say, well, that isn't something that serves all. Let's make it be clear here. Yes, a lot of the underprivileged are Black and Latinos, but in that area, there's a hell of a lot of underprivileged white kids also. I have friends who are driving them to schools every day. So that's a statement.
Absolutely.
I want the narrative to be correct here. This is to help everybody in the school district.
Absolutely. And I apologize for that. I just go off of the data supported by that school, the demographics. I think the majority of the students there, I want to say it's all 82% would be,
Right.
underrepresented groups. And my apologies. You're absolutely right. This doesn't exclude any group at all.
And not only that, but
This is a
every
free
group,
service.
not to talk over you, but every group as well. A lot of the poor kids, they all need it. They're all deserving, and they're. I just want to get that out there. So this is an all-inclusive thing. Well, look, Ellie, you're a very
Can I interject?
yeah,
Can I
yes, ma'am.
interject
Please
real
do. Yes.
because this needs to be, this is a very important point that she made. Memorial Herman approached Humble ISD because their ERs have been way too busy.
Mm-hmm.
So it was in their best interest to have this clinic so that the ER and the hospitals are free, they're for the waiting lines to be less, and so that the population in general will have better access to the ER. Like, it wasn't Humble ISD that went to Herman Memorial. It was, or Memorial Herman. It was them because they needed a solution to clear up their problem.
And
And
that, Ellie, that is such a very important point that you just made there, because what you're telling me as well is that this is not just, oh, we're solving a problem for Humboldt. This is solving the community problem, offloading some of the kids to places where there's easier access for the entire community. It means longer wait lines at the emergency rooms, etc. Very important point to make. Now, Ellie, to you, as somebody working in the community, you have noticed a certain group of parents trying to make an issue out of a particular segment of that story, of that contract to be signed by Humble ISD. What's the issue that you hear from the people out there that we know they're misled, but what have you heard?
well, they have a concern with the family planning part of the contract. And because that is so all encompassing in general health, which Natalie can speak much clearer on all what that actually entails. And so they cannot amend the contract with Memorial Herman to exclude that. So they want to get rid of the family planning, i.e. in their minds, abortion. But we need to go into this understanding that every single service has to be parent approved. A child, a child 15, 17, 13 cannot go in there on their own. They have to have parental approval.
So in other words, because of the misinformation that many of these otherwise likely good people have, they are willing to cut the benefits of easy access by many students at Humble ISD and other at Humble ISD from getting good care. I tell you what, Natalie, why don't you explain exactly what the cause, what's the reason that these folks are concerned about, and blasting out emails right now. And in fact, this is something that I hope the good people are working on. Right now, the Humble board is getting blasted by no vote emails. So there is, and that is from people who have nothing better to do than sit down, drink tea, and find something to complain about. The working people, the people who are most dependent on this, they don't have the time to sit down behind a keyboard and continuously send emails. So before I come to you, Natalie, I want to run back to Eleanor. I mean to Ellie. I don't like to call her Ellie. It's Ellie. It's Ellie. It's Ellie. I want to run back to Ellie. Ellie, what are you doing? What is your group doing to ensure that those who have the ability right now to start letting the Humble board understand that not because you're getting a whole lot of emails from these guys, does it mean that that is what the majority of the population actually wants?
So we have been writing physical letters with our complaints. We have been emailing, calling. Kingwood area Democrats has been sending out emails to all of our members and followers to come to the school board meeting tomorrow. and stand up. And if you would like to speak, we would love that. Just show up and say that that there is opposition to that no vote.
I mean, definitely. Oops.
No, there is opposition. This is not going to be an easy win.
Absolutely. So Natalie, tell us what is it exactly now that within this contract that's creating that problem, and what is it that we need to do to let the board know that, look, we can't allow a temporary ruckus, which is all it is. These guys are going to raise hell for a while, and they don't care. Those kids that are going to be left in with the after the shrapnel is gone, they're the ones that are going to be left without health care as these people go on to their next issue.
Right. And so, yes. And so with this kind of bringing this notion of the clinic back up, of course, there was an evaluation or reevaluation of the contents of the contract. And as Ellie stated earlier, that this is a comprehensive clinic that's going to occur where they're going to give you sports physicals, preventative services, dental care, nutritional service, mental health services as well. And of course, within those services, you do have the option to seek family planning services. And as we all know, that family planning or birth control accessibility does not necessarily promote promiscuity. It doesn't, completely discount absenteeism or abstinence, sorry, not absenteeism, but abstinence. But what it does is it gives comprehensive care, because we use oral contraceptives to treat other conditions such as ovarian cysts, polycystic ovarian syndrome, amenorrhea, just a whole host of things, acne, even in young boys with heart conditions, we use Viagra to help with cardiac contractility. So these services will be at their disposal. And of course, you have the pearl clutching Christians who claim Christians, and I say that in air quote because I believe, in Christianity and in Jesus Christ, he's my savior. But they're clutching their pearls at the notion that there's access to, contraceptives, and we're promoting promiscuity by having services that will allow students to gain access to some of these things. And that's just not the case. And as Ellie stated earlier, that you have to have parental consent in order to be able to be seen in the clinic. It's going to be evaluated annually. Parents do get after visit summaries electronically. They're encouraged to actually be there physically when they actually have an appointment, if allowed or if their schedule permits. So it's just essentially, just the dog whistle to a lot of the dominionists, and I don't even call them conservatives anymore, or radicals. They're dominionists that want to essentially infringe and control every aspect of everyone's lives other than their own.
I think, I hope, I don't know who are all the speakers, but I hope that some of the speakers go with some of the statistics. The people that are doing more harm to our kids right now, when we look at whether it's trans or whether it's whatever you want to define somebody's identity by, the one doing the most damage, 14% of all calls coming in for child abuse right now, child sexual abuse, is by pastors. So something that they may want to consider, that if we decided to go ahead and start doing the stats on who are the people harming kids right now, it's not giving them family, it's not giving them health care. It's not giving them, do you need birth control, etc. The most promiscuous aren't the ones that are doing these things. But Ellie, so let's talk about what's gonna be done now. I think the board meeting is on Tuesday, the 17th of October, correct?
Yes, the board meeting is tomorrow, October 17th, at 7 p.m. Right, Natalie?
Yes.
And you'll sign in beforehand. There's a phone number to call if you want to be a speaker. And I believe they are putting the whole contract up for vote. So it'll be a yay or nay. And I would like to interject, another statistic. We would all love to think that our children, our teenagers, don't have sex. And we know that that is not true. The fastest growing group that get sexually transmitted diseases are the 15 to 24-year-olds. So without comprehensive sex education and access to birth control, this is going to be an epidemic. It just is. We cannot put our heads in the sand and just think, oh, my kid's not going to have sex and he's never going to have an STD. We have to protect our children, and you can only do that with education and knowledge.
Now, interestingly, in as much as we make mention of the sex issue and that sort of stuff, that is such a very small part of this whole entire contract. This contract is to give health care to students, health care to make sure that to make sure that they're taken care of, and to try to centralize it on a very small part, family care. You know, I always tell people, if you don't like something as a parent, you don't have to do it, but don't hold back. And I hope somebody brings this up, Ellie.
Yes.
Don't have one parent, two parent, 10 parents put the lives of thousands of parents in jeopardy, because that is exactly what a no vote is. Allowing a small, loud sect to decide to have a unhealthy population. You know, I get a little bit more graphic when I'm on my program, but since I'm with two decent ladies, I won't make the mistake of saying that at all. Anyhow.
Well, can I interject, Egberto, real quick?
Please
but
do.
You are correct.
Yes.
There's about, yes, these services only encompass about 3% of all services. So that means 97% of the, the clinic is going to be utilized for other services. In fact, the New England, the Journal of American Medicine just came out with a great comprehensive study of the efficacy of school clinics. And they noted that most of the children had an improvement in their, or actually were seen and had noted significant improvement in the therapy for asthma. So if that statistic proves to be true, which I'm pretty confident it is, because it was a very, very well done study, that most of the kids are going to be treated for other conditions outside of this family planning realm. So it's really important for us to not throw the baby out with the bathwater just because someone has access to birth control that might not even need it for, or actually use it for prevention of pregnancy, but other causes as well.
To every board member, go ahead.
I just want to interject again on top of that. So if you have a child that has gets a cold or the flu or RSV and quick intervention, then they don't pass it on to the rest of the school, to their family members. Economically, parents aren't going to have to stay home from work. So productivity for the community, the teachers, like this is such a, it's not even a trickle down effect. This is just, it just expands to every single part of the community. And we need to, remember again that this was Memorial Herman that wanted this because of the ER overflow.
But Ellie, just like Natalie says here, I mean, those points are so important. You're increasing productivity because kids now can go to a clinic close by before they start spreading stuff around the campus to both students and teachers. I tell you what, and I hope somebody brings this up, the first person that dies of COVID at school, the first person that gets severely ill for asthma at school, or has a bleed out or whatever at school. So if anyone who voted no for not having health care in the school, the death of that person or the illness of that person or the maiming of that person is on them. I hope, I hope you, both of you have great points. I hope you get to the speakers who are going to speak tomorrow night and let them know to make the board aware of these issues that you guys so intelligently point out. Because I think it's essential. A lot of these people are talking off the top of their heads. They don't really think things through. They're not pragmatic. We have to remember, right now, they frown on critical thinking. You both are critical thinkers, and we're lucky to have you in the community defending these issues at the school. Give me a closer, Natalie.
Right, and thank you. So, and it's not only, this is a call to action to anybody that agrees with us currently. All the stakeholders, we're inviting you to come to our Humble ISD board meeting tomorrow at 7 p.m. where we can band together. We plan on wearing black to stand in solidarity against these atrocities and stand up to the partisan, ideologue that will come and try to put on a show tomorrow. Please, 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 you could send emails. You could definitely show up. Send good vibes, prayers, support. We would greatly appreciate you all showing up and standing in solidarity with us.
Ellie, why don't you give me a closer and include where the address, if you have it with you, and who these folks can email. If you don't have it, it's fine. I'll print it.
I don't have it right in front of me.
That's fine.
I would like to say that both Natalie and I are nurses, so we do know what we are talking about. And it affects the community as a whole. So
I hope,
and we do wear black and stand in solidarity.
As nurses, I hope both of you are going to be there speaking. I didn't just say appearing. I hope both of you are going to be there speaking. So if both of you haven't signed up, please, we need your voices. Your voices are essential. My name is, thank you so kindly, Natalie and Ellie, for giving this not more than a service announcement. Thank you so kindly for being on Politics Done Right.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.